Hello students. Let us now proceed with our discussion on derivatives. In my previous videos, I had discussed or introduced you to the identity. The derivative of x raised power n is n x raised power n minus 1, where n is any integer. Let us see whether it is satisfied for real numbers also. That is, let us see whether it is satisfied for fractions also. So let's find the derivative. We'll take one negative fraction and one positive fraction, and then we will generalize it. So derivative of y equal to root x, that is x raised power of half. Now when you find, or you can equate it to f of x also. Now when you find the derivative, what we get is limit h tending to 0 f of x plus h, which becomes x plus h square root minus f of x, which is square root of x over h. Now as discussed in the previous videos, such kind of questions where we have the difference of two root terms which reduce this function to 0 in the numerator, so that it becomes a 0 by 0 form, we always rationalize the numerator. So rationalizing, we get limit h tending to 0 square root of h plus x plus h minus square root of x into square root of x plus h plus square root of x whole upon h times square root of x plus h plus square root of x. Solving, we get limit h tending to 0. This a squared minus b squared property we are going to use, and so this becomes square root of x plus h, which becomes x plus h, minus square root of x, which becomes x, upon here it remains as it is. Now even though we are still left with two square root terms, but because of the presence of plus sign, it doesn't create any problem. Okay, so now these two get cancelled. Now what we get is limit h tending to 0 h upon h times square root of x plus h minus square root of x. In the limiting case, we are able to cancel this, and applying the limits, what we get is 1 upon square root of x plus 0 into square root of x, which becomes 1 upon 2 root x, giving us that the result that d by dx of square root of x is equal to 1 upon 2 root x. Let us check whether we get the same result using the identity also. Now we can write it as x raised power of half. By the identity, it should be equal to half x raised power of half minus 1, which is half x raised power minus half, which becomes 1 upon 2 x raised power half, which is 1 upon 2 under root x. We see that we get the same result as this. It means this result or this identity can be generalized for positive fractions also. Now let's check the derivative of a negative fraction. Derivative of 1 upon root x. So we can write it as y is equal to 1 upon root x, which can be actually written as x raised power minus half. Let's write it as f of x plus h. So when you find the derivative, dy by dx is equal to limit h tending to 0. Now f of x plus h will be equal to 1 upon x plus h under root minus 1 upon under root of x whole upon h. Taking the LCM here, we get limit h tending to 0 root x minus root x plus h upon h times root x plus h. Now we need to simplify it. Now I'm again rewriting this. What we get is dy by dx is equal to limit h tending to 0. We get root x minus root x plus h over h times root x plus h. When you substitute h equal to 0 here, we get it is again 0 by 0 form. So again, like the previous part, what we do is we do rationalizing of the numerator. So what we get is dy by dx is equal to limit h tending to 0 root x minus root x plus h into root x plus h, and in the denominator we have h root x plus h, and it is multiplied by root x plus h. Now again, applying a squared minus b squared property, what we get is the square root terms in the numerator get removed, so we get x minus x plus h upon, this gets carried down as it is without a change, so root x plus h. X and x gets cancelled and we are left with limit h tending to 0 h upon h times root x plus h root x plus h. Now this h and this h also gets cancelled. Applying the limits, we get 1 upon root x plus 0 is root x plus 0 is again root x. This gives us 1 upon x into 2 root x, which gives us 1 upon 2 times x raised power of 3 by 2. That is derivative of 1 upon root x is equal to 1 upon 2. You can write x root x, or you can write it as 1 upon 2x raised power 3 by 2. Again, substituting in the identity, we get d by dx of 1 upon root x can be written as d by dx of x raised power minus half is equal to minus half x raised power minus half minus 1, which comes out to be minus half x raised power minus 3 by 2, which is equal to, now here also we have it as minus here. This is minus and the answer comes out to be minus this. Here what we get is minus 1 upon 2 into x raised power 3 by 2, which is the same result as obtained here, and so we can safely generalize this identity for all n belonging to real numbers, and with this we can do any and every question based on this. This result means we can directly apply this, and as we have seen in the previous video, we can apply it to find the derivative of a polynomial also. Now let us come to the derivative of trigonometric functions. Derivative of trigonometric functions. So let's start with derivative of sin x. Okay, so let's start with y equal to sin x, which we write it as f of x. Now dy by dx will be limit h tending to 0, fx plus h will be sin of x plus h minus fx will be sin x over h. Now sin a minus sin b is 2 cos a plus b by 2, that is x plus h plus x by 2 into sin of a minus b by 2, that is x plus h minus x by 2 whole upon h. This comes out to be limit h tending to 0 2 cos. This is 2x by 2, which is x plus h by 2 into sin x and x gets cancelled, h by 2 upon h. This 2 can come here and it becomes limit h tending to 0 cos x plus h by 2 into sin h by 2 upon h by 2 can be written as limit h tending to 0 cos x plus h by 2 into limit h tending to 0 sine h by 2 upon h by 2. In the limiting case, as h tends to 0, h by 2 also tends to 0, and so what we get is the result is cos of x plus 0 into 1, which comes out to be cos x, and hence we get the result as d by dx of sine x is equal to cos x. In the same manner, let us find now the derivative of cos x. So the next thing is finding derivative of cos x. Y equal to cos x equal to fx. Dy by dx will be equal to limit h tending to 0 cos x plus h minus cos x over h. Now we have to find the derivative. So what we get is rewriting it, dy by dx comes out to be limit h tending to 0 cos of x plus h minus cos of x over h. Now cos a minus cos b property we apply, which it will be equal to limit h tending to 0. Cos a minus cos b is minus 2 sine a plus b by 2, which comes out to be x plus h by 2 into sine a minus b by 2, which comes out to be h by 2 whole upon h. Again we can write it as limit h tending to 0. Now minus comes outside, sine of x plus h by 2, and this can be written as sine of h by 2 upon h by 2. We can separate the limit, or we can just simply substitute. What do we get? Minus sine of x plus 0 into 1, and so we get the derivative of cos x is equal to minus sine x. Now same way we find the derivative of tan x. Now we know that tan x can be written as sin x over cos x, so it can be found out using quotient rule, but that method we'll do after introducing you to the quotient rule. So in the time being, what we do is we'll do it by the basic method, because you do get questions where you have to solve it by the basic. Now y equal to tan x can be written as fx. So dy by dx will be equal to limit h tending to 0 tan of x plus h minus tan of x upon h. Now as you all are already aware that whenever you come across any function like this, tan or sec or cosec or cot, we always try to convert it to the simplest form, that is in terms of sine and cos, and then solve. The solution becomes much simpler. Now taking the LCM, what we get is limit h tending to 0 sin x plus h cos x minus cos x plus h sin x whole upon h times cos x plus h. Now this is another identity, sin a cos b minus cos a sin b is equal to sin of a minus b. Cos x plus h. X gets cancelled and we get limit h tending to 0 sin h over h is one term and 1 upon cos x plus h. Applying the limit, what we get is, in the limiting case, this is 1 into 1 upon cos x plus 0, which is 1 upon cos x, which is sec squared x, and thus we get another important result, that is derivative of tan x is sec squared x. Exactly on the same lines, we can find the derivative of cot x. Now let y be equal to cot x is equal to fx. So dy by dx, exactly on the same lines, we write h tending to 0, cot of x plus h minus cot of x whole upon h. Now again, like the previous one, we'll convert it to cos and sine. So we get sine of x plus h minus cos of x over sine of x over h. Again, taking LCM, we get sine x cos x plus h minus cos x sine x plus h whole upon h times sine x plus h. Okay, now again the numerator is an identity, sine a cos b minus cos a sine b. So we get sine of a minus b, h times sine x plus h. X gets cancelled and we are left with limit h tending to 0. Sine of minus h will be minus of sine h upon h. This can be put together into 1 upon sine x plus h. Applying the limits, we get minus 1 into 1 upon sine x, which is minus cos x squared x, and thus we get the next result as d by dx of cot x is equal to minus cos x squared x. Now coming to the next result, derivative of sec x. Again the same way, let y equal to sec x equal to fx. Dy by dx will be equal to limit h tending to 0 sec of x plus h minus sec of x over h. Now again, like above, we'll have to convert it to sine and cos, whatever the case may be. So sec will be 1 upon cos. So we get dy by dx is equal to limit h tending to 0, 1 upon cos x plus h minus 1 upon cos x whole over h. Taking the LCM, we get cos of x plus h upon h cos x plus h. Again, using the identity for cos a minus cos b, we get minus 2 sine a plus b by 2, that is x plus h by 2, sine a minus b by 2, that is minus h by 2, whole upon, we get h cos x plus h. Now we can rewrite it as, now minus of minus becomes plus of minus. This comes outside. We can write it as sine h by 2 upon h by 2. This 2 goes down into sine x plus h by 2 upon cos x plus h. Applying the limits, this minus and minus gets cancelled. Applying the limits, this gives us 1 into sine of x plus 0 upon cos x plus 0, which gives us 1 upon cos x into sin x over cos x, which is sec x tan x, and hence we get derivative of sec x as sec x tan x. Proceeding exactly the same way as this and applying the results, if you find derivative of cosec x, we can just take it as y equal to cosec x equal to fx, so that dy by dx becomes limit h tending to 0, 1 upon sine x plus h minus 1 upon sine x over h, which on solving gives us the result as d by dx of cosec x comes out to be minus cosec x cot x, exactly as we did it for sec x. So thus we have the derivatives of all the 6 trigonometric functions which can be directly applied in the questions. Thank you.